Captain Elena Vasquez stood before the Galactic Council's tribunal, her hands bound behind her back with energy shackles that hummed with alien technology. The massive chamber stretched beyond human comprehension, its crystalline walls reaching into darkness while thousands of alien representatives observed from tiered seating that spiraled upward like a cosmic amphitheater. Human designation Elena Vasquez, the Council's prime arbiter announced, its voice echoing through universal translators. You stand accused of violating the sacred doctrine of non-interference. How do you answer? Elena raised her chin defiantly. The arbiter was a towering crystalline being from the Zephyrian Collective, its faceted body refracting the chamber's bioluminescent lighting into prismatic rainbows. Around it sat representatives from dozens of species, the gas-form ethereals, floating in containment fields, the insectoid Mantari clicking their mandibles in disapproval, and the ancient Vorthon, whose tentacled forms writhed with barely contained contempt. I answer that your sacred doctrine is a coward's philosophy, Elena replied, her voice carrying clearly through the vast space. And I'd violate it again without hesitation. A wave of shocked gasps and chittering filled the chamber. The arbiter's crystalline form flared brighter. You confess to your crimes? I confess to saving lives, Elena said. When the Kepler 442 system's star began its premature collapse, your council voted to observe and document. 14 billion Nexari lives hung in the balance, and you chose to watch them die for the sake of your precious non-interference policy. The Mantari delegate, General Thixis, rose from his seat. The natural order must not be disturbed, human. Evolution demands that species face extinction without artificial intervention. This is the way of the cosmos. Elena laughed bitterly. Natural order? Your people achieved faster than light travel 50,000 years ago. The ethereals manipulate dark matter like children playing with building blocks. The Vorthon have transcended physical death itself. But somehow, a species facing solar collapse is natural selection? The Nexari were not yet capable of interstellar travel, the ethereal representative whispered, its voice like wind through distant stars. They had not earned survival. Earned? Elena's voice rose. You're talking about children, families, artists, dreamers, billions of sentient beings reduced to nothing more than a cosmic test they didn't even know they were taking. The prime arbiter pulsed with authoritative light. The human perspective is noted but irrelevant. Captain Vasquez, you used your species' crude but effective nuclear pulse technology to destabilize the stellar core, buying the Nexari time to evacuate. In doing so, you violated our most fundamental law. And saved 14 billion lives, Elena added. Lives that were cosmically designated for termination. General Thixis clicked. Your interference has disrupted the natural balance. The Nexari now populate 3 systems, consuming resources, altering stellar compositions, affecting the development of dozens of other species. The ripple effects of your actions will cascade through millennia. Elena looked around the chamber, meeting as many alien gazes as she could. You're right about the ripple effects. Because of our interference, the Nexari developed revolutionary water purification technology that they've shared with 17 other species. Their artists created the harmony frequencies that have prevented 3 wars. Their scientists discovered the cure for Vorthon nerve decay, extending your own lifespans by centuries. The Vorthon delegation shifted uncomfortably, their tentacles writhing with what Elena had learned to recognize as embarrassment. Irrelevant variables, the prime arbiter insisted. though its light flickered uncertainly. The law exists for cosmic stability. The law exists because you're terrified, Elena said, stepping forward as far as her restraints allowed. Every species in this chamber achieved greatness through risk, through change, through choosing action over passivity. But now you've grown comfortable, stagnant. You've convinced yourselves that observation is wisdom, that non-action is virtue. She paused, letting her words sink in. Humanity is barely 2 centuries into space travel. We haven't transcended death or manipulated dark matter or achieved your technological marvels. But we still remember something you've forgotten. That, with great power comes the responsibility to act. Human philosophy is primitive, the ethereal whispered. Primitive? Elena smiled grimly. Maybe. But while you debated the cosmic significance of the Nexari extinction, we fired our engines. While you calculated the probability matrices of intervention, we saved lives. While you worried about precedent, we set one. The chamber fell silent except for the distant hum of the station's life support systems. The prime arbiter's crystalline form dimmed as it processed Elena's words. The sentence, it finally announced, is exile from all council territories and species designation as cosmically hazardous. Humanity will be quarantined to its home system indefinitely. Elena nodded. She had expected this. And the Nexari will be monitored for compliance with our relocated species protocols. Good, Elena said. Then my mission was successful. As the energy shackles were removed and she was escorted toward the transport bay, Elena felt something she hadn't expected: the subtle shift of the station itself. Through the deck plates, she could sense the massive structure changing course, but not toward the transport ships. Captain Torres, her second-in-command, was waiting in the bay with a knowing smile. The Nexari fleet intercepted our communications, Captain. Turns out they take a dim view of their rescuers being condemned. Elena looked through the viewport to see dozens of sleek Nexari vessels surrounding the council station, their hulls gleaming with the water and light aesthetic of their species. They're offering us escort home, Torres continued, along with full citizenship in the Nexari Federation and access to their 3-system territory. The Council's security forces hesitated, clearly unprepared for this development. Elena could see the irony wasn't lost on them. Their sacred doctrine of non-interference was being challenged by the very species whose survival they had deemed cosmically inappropriate. As Elena boarded her ship, she received a final transmission from the Prime Arbiter. This precedent will have consequences, human. Elena smiled as she settled into the captain's chair. I'm counting on it. The human fleet departed council space not as exiles, but as pioneers. Behind them, the first cracks appeared in a doctrine that had governed the galaxy for millennia. Ahead lay new alliances, new possibilities, and the promise that sometimes the greatest cosmic order came from the courage to break cosmic laws. In the depths of space, 14 billion Nexari looked up at stars they might never have seen and whispered their gratitude to the species condemned for caring too much to let them die.